Thank you, my dear precious Talmud Avromi. To me, he's still Avromi, and he probably always will be. So many of you, he's going to be Harav Goen Reb Avrom Katz, and a very inspiring thought. I just want to fill in another point that the Netziv makes. And he says, Bnei Gad or Bnei Reuven were two Shvotim, were two tribes, and they will be detached from Ikar HaYishuv, from all the others, with a river dividing between them. And that river will cause them ultimately not to be really mechuba, really attached and really part of the greater community. And that is why Moshe suggested Chatzi Shevet Menashe. Half of the Shevet on this side of the river, of the Jordan, and half on the other side. It's the same Shevet. And that will guarantee Shioros Metzias. People will be coming, people will be going. Families, people will be visiting. And that will ensure that those that are on the east side of the Jordan, of the river, will constantly be attached, and they will be as a chelik meikar Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, which will be the center of Torah. So we are already in the 9 days. So this week we don't really have Shavua Shechal B'Tisha, but we do have the 9 days. And these are days of mourning. And the Novi Zechariah promises that these days will ultimately be transformed, as the Novi says in Perek Ches in Zechariah, Tzoma Revi'i v'Tzoma Chamishit, Tzoma Shvi'i v'Tzoma Asiri, Yehiyu leBeis Yehuda leSoson uleSimcho uleMoyadim Tovim, V'hu Emes v'Sholem Ahevu. So the Navi promises these days, these tragic, sad days of mourning will ultimately be transformed to days of joy and celebration. When and how will that be? V'hu Emes v'Sholem Ahevu. The Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. The first Beis HaMikdash ba'avoim bittul Torah, as we learn in Ador and Pei Aleph. The second Beis HaMikdash we learn in Yom Adav Tes Senas Chinam. So the Navi says, when you will learn to appreciate and love Emes, Torah, and Shalom, to rectify what caused the Churma Beis HaMikdash Sheni, Ahavas Chinam, instead of Sinas Chinam, it is then that you will be Zocher Emes Vasholem Ha'evo. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma says, if you would give me Kol HaKesef Azuv Shebeyolam, and Avonim Tovim V'Mergorios, Ein Ani Dar Elo B'Mokem Torah. I visited the South African community many times, and I actually love the South African community. I also like South Africans that are living here, and I know a great many of them. Something special about this community. Well, South Africa has two unique features. It's the most literature place in the entire world. So for many years, when I used to come to South Africa, I used to say, I really feel special here because I'm the only Streimer in the city. And it's very few cities in the world in which you could say, you're the only Streimer in the city. So the entire South African community is from Lithuania. 150 years ago or so, there were pogroms in Lithuania, and there was a huge exodus from Lithuania to South Africa. And the other feature is, it is a Baal Tshuva community, and almost every Jew in Johannesburg or Cape Town is second or third generation Baalei Tshuva, because when the Lithuanians came to South Africa, there was a huge deterioration of Yiddishkeit. And so the Ponovezher loved South Africa. And much of the money, which was the seed money for Ponovezher Yeshiva, came from South Africa. And I heard from elders in the South African community a beautiful story. Ponovezher came. I think it was the first time that he visited South Africa, and he felt at home because they were all Lithuanian Jews. So in the morning, Shabbos by davening, there was a huge crowd, hundreds of people, and he said a drosha right after laning. And when he finished his drosha, people got up and they cheered and they applauded. And then by Musaf, they had no minyan. And the Ponovezher asked, where did everybody go? Is there another minion around here? And he was, no, they all drove home. So why did they come? They came because the Ponovezher was in town and they all wanted to hear the drasha. You know, these are Lithuanian Jews. And they know what the Ponovezher is. And the Ponovezher was shocked. So they drove home? Yes, they drove home. And then when they all came together to say farewell and he parted from them, he said something amazing. He said, Asida Torah lachzor alachsanya shalom. And I am confident you are a Lithuanian community. And Lita, at the time, was the source of Torah. Vilna was called Yerushalayim de Lita. Torah machazeres alachsanya shalom. I just beg you, when the Torah will come back, she should have to whom to come back. Stay away from intermarriage. I will tell you to keep Shabbos. I don't think you'll listen to me. I'll tell you to keep Taras HaMishpocha. Probably won't have much effect. But please, please, see that your kids should marry Jewish girls. See that your daughter should marry Jewish boys. Because when the Torah will come back, there should be someone to open the door. And that's a blessing that was fulfilled. And there is very, very little intermarriage historically in the South African community. And when time came, the Torah was back and it was embraced in the South African community. So Johannesburg is a beautiful community, and with all the difficulties and trials and tribulations that community went through since the abolishment of apartheid and since Nelson Mandela, and many people left, but it is still a robust and thriving, beautiful community. There's a kollel in Johannesburg, I think it's called Torah's Chaim, and they very much want to attract younger light, and we're in an effort to open a kollel in Cape Town. And Rabbi Avromi, my Talmud, is designated to be the Rosh Kollel. So if anybody is debating whether to go to Cape Town or to Johannesburg, I think Cape Town will have a better Rosh Kollel. But Johannesburg is a bigger community. So it is for you to decide. Do you want to go to Johannesburg? Johannesburg definitely has a much more robust infrastructure for Yiddishkeit. There's schools in Johannesburg, more than one, from good school and Beis Yankov's, many shuls, and Cape Town is a fledgling community. But as I said, we're going to have a great kollel, B'ezrat Hashem. We're going to have a great Rosh Kollel. I hope we're going to have a great kollel as well. But South Africa is a beautiful community. It's hard for B'nai Torah to leave Eretz Yisrael and to leave Yerushalayim, and you need a very good reason to do so. And I'm at loss trying to convince Avrechem that are happy in Yerushalayim, Yera Kodesh, to leave Eretz Yisrael and to go to South Africa. But it is a mitzvah to establish a new Mukim Torah. And it was always a tremendous vision. And many Gedolei Yisrael left their homes and even left Eretz Yisrael to be Mechazek HaMukim Torah. So one of the very few mitzvahs that justifies leaving Eretz Yisrael is Lilmod Torah. And if Lilmod Torah justifies leaving Eretz Yisrael, Lelamed Torah does as well. So being Miyased HaMukim Torah, Mechazek HaMukim Torah, and to grow in learning, one is entitled to leave Eretz Yisrael, especially in Datoi Lachzor. So today I spoke to the chief rabbi, Rabbi Goldstein, who called me and really asked me to come and be Mechazek the Olam. And I know many of the Choshev Balabatim in Johannesburg. I visited Cape Town too, quite a few times. So Johannesburg has a thriving frum community, but Cape Town is a more peaceful place to live. You don't need to hide behind a garrison and barbed wire with an armed guard on your roof in Cape Town, as you do in Johannesburg. But both options are wonderful options. So those of you that have no plans to leave in Eretz Yisrael and they want to stay in Yerushalayim, Mira Kodesh Tovei Brocha Roishchem, I'm not the one to tell you, leave Yerushalayim. But many of you have different reasons to consider going to South Africa, some financial, it's for many Ungolite, it's hard to etch out a living in Eretz Yisrael. So those that are considering going to South Africa, I am a chazik and I encourage you, b'kolev. It's one of the most beautiful communities in Chutz La'aretz. There's a lot of achdus in the community, and it's beautiful people and beautiful meisters. So first of all, an opportunity for me to wish my dear Talmud Hatzlocha Gedoyle and Abotzes Torah and a Psak. Avromi's been with us for years in one of the greatest koilim in Yerushalayim, and we have a shkoila sitting at the other side of the table. So I don't really know where the mizrach is, where I'm sitting, or where Reb Chaim is sitting. But so Baruch Hashem, and I could say Rav Katz Mile Kreisoy B'Shas V'Poiskim V'Ra'ui La'oisa Itztala. He definitely has all it takes to be a Rosh Koil or a Rav or a Moira Hiroa. And I'm just here to encourage this initiative of being Mechazik Torah in South Africa. So the vision of the Ponovezher was fulfilled, and it's a beautiful community. And I think it's the most Baal Tshuva community in the world. And practically everyone in South Africa comes from a Baal Tshuva family, which is beautiful. And I wonder whether that is second generation or third generation Baal Tshuva as well. But I think there is some humbleness and some humility which comes with the awareness that you're a Baal Tshuva, and some stronger connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Tovei Brocha Al Roishchem. And in these days of Avelus, we should all hope that in the Schus of Talmud Torah and Chizuk HaTorah, we should ultimately be Zoicha. Ki Ato Hashem, be'eish hitzato, u'be'eish ato osed levenoisa. Torah nimshelo la'eish. And if Bittul Torah caused Churma Abayis, then Chizuk Torah will bring forth Binyan Abayis. So we all hope that Tzayim HaRavi'i v'Tzayim HaChamishi, Tzayim HaShvi v'Tzayim HaAsiri yihiyu leBeis Yehuda, l'soson u'lesimcha u'lemoyadim toivim. I look around the room, and there are quite a few faces here that are very familiar to me. Avrechem in the Koil for years. Are you taking away my Avrechem from the Koil? So if you want to go and be Machazek Torah, go. But it's an opportunity for me to tell the Avrechem learning with Rebbe Kiva and Reb Chaim how much I appreciate them and how precious they are to me, and Shenazkeh Kulanu lahagdil Torah u'la'adira. And the source of Talmud Torah, we should be zeichet to the Geula Shleima b'mheru v'yameinu amen.